I had been struggling with a Matador for 2 years. Now that Matador was pretty neat. It was a different piece of equipment, and we had won a few NASCAR races with it, and you know, it was pretty meaningful to me, and so I gave it a try, and things just didn't work out, and I was really struggling, and Bud called and said, come on, get in this thing, and got in the car, and I actually was feeling pretty bad. I'd worn myself down and just tired out, you know, and didn't know why I didn't feel good, but was determined to do the best I could anyway.
The fact that he had the stomach issues was really difficult on him. And he told me once, he said, I went to the Mayo Clinic trying to figure out what is this thing with my stomach. He talks to the doctor, and the doctor, of course, sits down with him, and the doctor gets into all these stories about, this is my 4th marriage, and my kids are not doing well, and I've got money issues and this and that. And he said, you got worse problems than I do. I think I'm okay and you're not. I'm going to leave. And after that, it sort of started straightening itself out, where his stomach was not bothering him anymore, his health improved.
And the irony of the thing was, we got the race on Thursday got rained out, and we ran Friday and got wrecked really bad. And boy, I struggled around Friday and Saturday. And Saturday afternoon, I walked down there to tell Bud I was going home, and they had rebuilt that car. I could not believe how good that car looked and how much work those guys had done. And I said to myself, I got to give it one more day. If you know they've done this for me, I got to at least do the best I can one more time.
When the car, we brought it in, the wrecker brought it in and put it in our garage space at the garage area, and we got to looking at it and checking it out. And Bobby, I think he'd already left, and I told my guys, I said, look, we got to fix this car. And they said, I don't think we can. I said, well, let's just start taking the tail end and stuff off. It was hitting. He backed it into the wall by the rear, or into the guardrail one, whichever one it was. Anyway, it'd been up pretty bad on the back end, so we took the stuff off the back and all. And we had these chassis people. Well, you remember what their name was that had the chassis frames set up and everything?
Yeah, Bender.
Bender was there, and I went over and talked to them. They said, well, get it stripped off and bring it over here, and let's see what we can do with it. So we took it over and put it on the frame machine with Bender. And they said, oh, we can fix this. So we pushed the frame around and got it all back pretty well straight and all this. And I said, I think that'll work out pretty good. And we checked the alignment on the rear end and all the stuff on it, and everything, all that part was good. So I went down to the Ford place and bought the pieces, you know, for the back, bought a quarter panel and deck lid and I don't know, the rear tail section, the rear bumper, and all the stuff. We went down to the Ford place and got and come back, and we went to work on it. And one thing NASCAR did, they let us work. They had some inspectors stay there with us, and they worked till 9 o'clock. So we worked till 9 o'clock that Friday night on it, and then the next Saturday morning, we got out there and finished it up and painted it and got it all done and all this. And Bobby come walking in about 12:30, 1 o'clock, and he hadn't even saw the car first. You know, he saw me and he said, "You know what?" Said, "I'm going back to Alabama." He says, "Ain't no need me staying here." And said, "I can't run," and all this kind of. I said, "Wait a minute, I don't think we're going nowhere yet." So we walked on down towards the garage there. When he saw it, he couldn't believe his eyes, you know, sitting there. It looked like it was. We just unloaded off the truck.
I knew the car was good. The car had been really good in the race, and we got wrecked. Unfortunate deal where the track started to tear up a little bit. And of all people, Buddy Baker tried to dive under me right there and got in some of the marbles and stuff from the track tearing up, and got me into the wall. And somehow, you know, he managed to get through without too much damage on his car, but boy, I was done in, you know. And so, you know, Buddy and I were always friends and have remained friends all through the whole thing. But it was ironic that he had been the driver of that car, and it was he and I that were involved in the crash.
The 500, we ran awful good. Bobby led most of the race at 500, and I think you and Baker did have a run there a little bit during the 500.
You know, we started 33rd, which it took a while to get to the front, but once I got to the front, the car was really, ran good, handled good, drove good, and Buddy Baker was the one of the cars that was running really good there at the end, and when I first caught him, he never thought he'd see that car again, much less come from that far back. Well, first of all, he thought it was wrecked bad enough that it wasn't going to get fixed right, but caught him and really surprised him. Just drove right on by him, you know. So I thought that was pretty neat. And then he drafted on me, and you know, he'd draft by, and I'd get draft back by him, and all those kind of things. And we just ran a good race there to the end, and won that race.
Everybody knows that the Daytona 500 was the biggest race of the year, and that was the main deal, you know, to win the Daytona 500. And we had tried quite a few. I lost the race quite a few times with engine problems or some different things that went wrong and all of this. But winning the Daytona 500 with Bobby Allison, one of the greatest feats that I figure I ever have, and I've called that right now second, because going in the Hall of Fame, I think, is one of my best deals going right now. And winning the Daytona 500 is my next.
It was the greatest day of my career when that rolled around, and it remained there. I mean, you know, I mean, I won some more races. Won the 600 here at Charlotte, won the 500 at Charlotte, and you know, Dover and Atlanta and Rockingham and Pocono and
You name them, he's
like
won
that.
about every one that's ran.
And the 78 Daytona 500 and the Bud Moore Thunderbird was still the biggest thing in my career, all the way up till I finally did get that championship several years later.